on there, YouTube? Back again on the old number 2. See, I've done a few things off camera. If you've followed along on Instagram, it's RC Everyday on Instagram. You've seen what's been going on. Wasn't enough to make a video, so I just kind of did a few things here and there, like paint the entire body. Yeah, I'm gonna do some. I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do yet. It's Thursday night after work, or Friday morning, night shift. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about paint and body. Tell you what I've done, catch you up, and then we will see what we can do next. All right, guys. So I painted it this satin red. I don't know where the can is. I will show you. I think it's a Rust-Oleum. I'm not for sure. I buy all my paints at Walmart. I don't buy fancy RC paints. I ran out of primer, so I had this satin red. I figured, what the hey, I want to see some color on this thing because it's been just stark white plastic for so long. And it came out really well, and I like it. So this is the cab I got printed at Shapeways. It has a real fine texture, and it transcended through the paint. But I'm not really upset. It looks good. I think it plays well with the satin. So I'm just going to roll with it for now. I'm going to attempt to weather it, I think. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but I did put the numbers on the side. That was something I've been wanting to do. I wanted to do it on my original build. I wanted to put a number 1 on it. I want to number them all in the order that I built them. But I could never find the stencils, and the other one looks so good, just a solid color. So, but this one, it's kind of racy, kind of sporty, kind of rat roddy. So I figured I'd throw a number on there real quick, and you can see it didn't take very well. I heavy coated it one big coat of the eggshell white satin Rust-Oleum, and it ran, and there's some edges. The stencils I got weren't very user friendly. They were just kind of almost cardboard, so they didn't want to stay seated. Parts of it were popping up, and that's the problem with stencils. But I found those at Walmart. It was like $3 for a pack. It had every letter and every number, so I went ahead and went with it. They were the right size, so, and it's round about the right look I wanted. But any imperfections in it and stuff will play into the weathering once we get there. Another thing I did off camera was the exhaust. Now, I don't know if that's on the right side of the motor. Don't judge me. Or the right side of the turbo. I want my exhaust on the passenger side. You don't want your exhaust blowing out on the driver's side. It's just personal preference, right or wrong. It's already done, and that pipe is glued in. That is about a, I don't know, maybe not quite a ½ inch. It was aluminum. And I tried to bend it. The bend kind of came out flat. Just it's hard to bend. I used my vise mounted tubing bender, but to get the angle I needed, it just kind of came out. It flattened the corner. But I have an idea for that, which I don't know if we're going to get to in this video because I had another idea that didn't pan out quite right. So my other idea was to make a heat wrap for all the pipes, because I'm going to have to add some more piping to from the turbo on the motor. And I thought I could buy some gauze. Just regular old gauze like you get at Walmart for wrapping up sprained wrists and the like. And I was going to dye it or stain it kind of a brown, black, dirty, dingy color. And I've got it in here soaking, but it's not taking the color very well. This stuff has a real, because it's kind of sticky, it kind of sticks to itself. So it's not taking in the color like I hoped it would. So we're probably going to have to let that soak for a few days and see if it doesn't take, and I'm going to have to find a different material. I just thought that would be a perfect heat wrap for the piping because it's kind of elastic, so you can stretch it and wrap it. I could just spray some glue on the pipe, wrap it up, and be happy with it. But I have to do some more experimenting with trying to dye it. I bet if I actually had an actual dye, it would work, but I don't. So I was trying my pigment, my washes. I got a brown wash and a black wash mixed in with some water there. It doesn't really seem to be working. I think I wasted most of my brown wash. But we'll let that set and see. Yeah, so that's where I'm at. Now you're all caught up. The body is still not mounted on the truck. it is wedged between the turbo and the frame rails. So it pops straight up right off. The Firewall, let me get you a better angle of that. Alright, so the Firewall I made out of just a sheet of tin. I don't even know what gauge it is. I bought a big sheet at Home Depot and I cut the Firewall and it fits pretty well. It's a little bit of gap around the edges, but I'm not sure yet how I want to attach that. There's plenty of plastic around the edge where I could drill it and actually put scale hardware to bolt it on. But the problem is the scale hardware I have currently, the little teeny scale, I think they're 0.5 head, 0.5 millimeter head bolt, I don't know. They're just not long enough to reach through the plastic to put nuts on it. And I don't want to try to tap the plastic because I just don't know how that's going to hold. So I haven't attached the Firewall yet, but it stays wedged in there nice and tight. And the body is wedged between the back of the rise on the frame rail and the turbo on the motor. And I ground it down. I got my bench sander, and I held that on there, and it got a nice. I took that sheet metal you buy at Home Depot and Lowe's has a zinc coating, so I want to knock a lot of that down because I want that to rust eventually. But yeah, it's not sure yet how I'm gonna attach that. Still a lot of brainstorming to do, but just kind of hard to not sit here and just stare at it because this thing's looking mean. It's got an exhaust pipe. I've got the engine done. Mostly done. I've got the fan on. I've still got to figure out a grill, some kind of grill, and the problem with that is it sticks out. The fan sticks out a little further on one side than it does on the other, and that's just the way it worked. Nothing's perfectly square. I didn't really measure a whole lot of this. I just mounted it in, so that the fan could be crooked because it's just glued to the water pump, which is glued to the motor. So yeah, you're just at the liberty of manufacturing quality from my scale engine in China. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to be able to put on over the radiator shell to make a grill facade. I've got some metal or some real thin mesh. Came with a 14th scale Scania semi truck, but I don't know. I don't know yet what I'm going to do. I need to figure out a radiator and where to mount it. It may be a rear mounted radiator. I don't even know if I'm going to put one on it. I just got to decide how far I'm going to take this thing as far as details, because I didn't want to go too detailed on the engine because I don't want a bunch of little things to break, because I do want this truck to be fast. My other rat rod came out really slow, and I could upgrade the engine on that, but money's tight. I pay for all this myself, so I can buy one more set of electronics. I'm not going to go backwards here and work on the first one yet. I want to get this one to a running point. So I want this to be fast. Don't want to do too much detail on the engine, have little things to break off, like that tailpipe that's sticking out the side. But yeah, I'm not sure yet what I want to do. So I'm going to look at some of my weathering options here, and I need to play around with my rust finish. That AK, where is it? Streaking, that's grime, engine oil. My AK rust streaks, which I used on my other rat rod, and it came out amazing on that dark color. I don't know how they're going to take to this color yet, so I'm kind of hesitant to try it, but I may give it a whirl. It's a little too chilly and damp outside. I can't paint something and test it on this color, so we may have to try it out on the grill or something. So we'll pick back up there here in a second. Alright guys, so I did the rust streaks on the grill shell, and it's looking pretty good, so I may go ahead and do the body. Really not going to show all this on camera because I've done probably almost 10 weathering videos. There's not much to it. I'm just going to take my AK rust streaks and I'm going to cover the entire body and put it in front of a fan. I'm going to let it run and do whatever it's going to do, and we'll see how it looks. Alright guys, so I did one real just complete coating with the rust streaks over that satin red finish, and I'm impressed. I didn't really try this out on anything. I did the grill shell. I was like, well, that looks good enough. We'll try it on the body. I had no idea that it was going to come out this good. This looks like just a rusty original finish, and the way the number is patinaed in there now, I couldn't be happier with it. I don't know what else I'm going to do with it. I might add, I mean, I do plan on putting exhaust smoke down the side of the cab where the pipe is. That's a given. I have to do that. But this finish just, it just pops, man. I couldn't have done that better if I had known what I was doing. Which I really didn't. I've never used that satin paint before. I've had it for a while. It's sitting up here on my paint shelf, and wow, that rust just made it look right. So we'll have to let this set a little while and dry, because I put it on real thick. I'm wearing quite a bit of it on my hand because I didn't plan this through. But let me see if I can flip it around the other side here without making too much of a mess. Just perfect. Splotchy, stained, old. Looks like a cab came off an old race car. I mean, it's exactly what I envisioned. And I don't know how I actually got here to this point. It's not one of those happy accidents. That color I started with just happened to work out. I need to get a little bit down here. That's the problem with setting it on a towel. It's soaking up some of it around the bottom. I may have to put some more on my brush. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's going to take that a while to dry, so yeah. As far as the bed sides go, if you can see them in the background there, they are bare metal, but I have not done anything to try and rust them up. I just kind of poorly ground off the primer and the filler and stuff that was on them. Not sure yet what I'm going to do with that. I'm half tempted to paint them and do this same process to it. We might go there. I don't know yet. But yeah, we'll let this cab keep drying. And it probably won't be dry by the end of this video, but hopefully it'll dry enough that we can put it back on the chassis and get a look of what it's actually going to look like, because I can't ever wait. I need my firewall to rust as well. I may have to leave this outside for a little while and let nature take its course with that, but I don't know. We'll let this dry a bit longer and we'll see where we are. Alright guys, so it's still drying and I may have messed up a section, so just up there on the cowl, I kind of wiped it a little too soon. There was a heavy spot, so I'm going to let this thing sit. It's going to take a while. I'm going to have to keep my little fan going. A little desk fan there. Keep that on it all night, and we'll pick it back up again tomorrow. I wanted to really do the smoke down the side from the tailpipe, but this weathering stuff takes patience, so gotta try and be patient with it. I'm really happy with how it's coming out so far, and hoping we can keep this positive momentum we have here with the good luck rolling and get this thing looking pretty scale. I still, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Whether I should paint the bed sides to match and weather them the same. I really don't know how it's going to come out if I take the bed sides and the firewall outside and just kind of leave them in the elements and let them rust up naturally. It's going to take forever, for one, because I think we don't have any rain in the forecast here for a little while. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I like the bare metal accents with the rust colored body. It might be too much having all rust colored, but I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. I'm really happy with how the body came out. That transition from that satin red to this rusty, faded, dingy brown mess is epic. It's way better than I ever thought it would be, so I consider this a win. Goes with the motor quite well. But yep. Appreciate you guys watching. I think I'm done for the night, so we'll pick this back up tomorrow. I took the Friday off work, so I've got a 3-day weekend to RC every day. So be sure to follow along on Instagram and on Facebook. You search RC every day on both, you'll find me. And we'll see y'all in the next video.